Welcome back to Not Real Fishing, everybody, and today we are going to the same spot that we went to last video. Now, at the current making of this video, I'm a week behind. I didn't upload last week, which, as bad as my uploads have been this past year or so, isn't really that surprising, but I was at the church volunteering for the Vacation Bible School, so I was there every day after work until about 8:30, so I didn't have time to edit the video. But last week we went to the pond that is over there off, well, it's off of Torchwood for me, but I forgot what we call it on this channel. I guess it's the Windy Pond, the pond they call it the Big Bass in with my dad. That's where we're going this morning, and if you look to the right there, we have a box. So I had a company reach out to me, and from my understanding, they're a newer, maybe newish Tenkara company. I could be wrong on that. I've just never heard of them before, and I have no idea how long they've actually been going for. But anyway, so they reached out to me and they sent me a rod, and they asked me if I'd, just review it, see how I feel about it, which is kind of cool. I've had one other company reach out to me before, and they reached out in a little bit different way the first company did, because they wanted me to give them my credit card so that I could go buy a rod and they could refund me. And I won't say that company, but it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Big company overseas that sells a lot of really cheap rods. They have a nicer quality one, and I say nicer, but not necessarily like, not to the quality this rod in here is just from looking on the online pictures. But the company that I'm talking about, even though the rods are cheap, I do still enjoy them. So this is a unique experience for me to be able to go out and fish with a rod that was sent to me for free. So this isn't necessarily a review yet. This will be more of like a first impressions and an unboxing. My full review will probably come later. You guys will be able to be with me to, see as I do it. So you can see that I'm not just saying, oh yeah, it's a great rod, it really handles big fish, I've caught like 30, and you've never, well, now the rod's mad at me, it just attacked me. That way you guys are along with this experience with me, so you can see what kind of hang-ups as they're happening, or if there are none. One thing this rod does have that I'm very interested in is they say their Lillian is 360 degree, has like a 360 degree spin, which makes me wonder how that's gonna work, and like how does that impact casting, how does that affect fighting fish, is that gonna be a weak point, so that, is the Lillian gonna break off easily? These are all questions that I have, so I figured I'd go to the pond that I consistently catch larger fish at, even though last time we were here it was mostly smaller bass. I will be using 5-pound test today, which is a little bit lower than what I usually use because I'm not quite sure on how strong this rod is. I normally use anywhere from 8 to 10 pound for what I fish, which is pretty heavy for a Tenkara rod anyways, but that's normally what I use. So the goal today is to catch some fish, get the feel for the rod. They also sent me their own, I think it's a floating PVC line, which I do like floating PVC, so I'm okay with that. And I'm gonna use that to start. The only thing I saw about their PVC line that I may not like about it is, if I have it correct, the actual main line is 10 foot long. The rod is 12 foot. I really prefer my main line to be the same length as the rod. Which I guess you could just get a bigger line. I could be wrong on that. We'll find out once we open the box. It looks a little windy today, not super crazy, but they did say this main line is supposed to be really good in the wind, so it looks like it's windy. Not as windy as last time though, which is good. So we just got here. We're probably gonna just pop open the back of the truck to open this box up and get everything started, get it all rigged up, and then we're gonna go catch some fish. So yeah, I'll meet you guys at the water in like, I don't know, 10 seconds. All right guys, so this is the box. It's from ESV. That's the name of the company. And we're just gonna pop it open. see how the whole thing goes. This knife's a little bit too sharp for this. It's cutting the cardboard as opposed to the... Don't want to make a mess either. Alright, let's take a look-see. Now here we go, we got a lot of stuff. We got... Oh, this is going to come in handy for when I'm catching catfish. I actually really like this, and it matches my shirt. So that's going on my hip. Even though we won't be catching any catfish here, but that's still really cool. Not sure what that is. Is it a rod cap maybe? Let's see. Sticker, of course. I may end up putting that on my, here's the sticker if y'all want to see it. I may end up putting that on my truck. Let's see. Rod case. I like these carbon fiber tubes. My only experience with, the higher quality rods is with Tenkara USA, because, oh look, it came with some line. Or is it, oh, it's a line keeper. Oh, that's cool. I was just thinking earlier, I brought my, so normally I use these ones here. Are Tenkara USA. These are the ones that I normally use, but they're expensive. They're $20. I really like them though. But I brought it because I was like, I don't know if they're going to have a line keeper in there, because a lot of times when you order them, you don't have a line keeper that comes with it. This one does come with one, which is really, really nice to see. I may or may not end up using this one. We'll see though. I still don't know what this is for though. Another really cool sticker. It's actually pretty cool. I've yet to catch a trout, and then this is the main line they send you. I do like how thin it is versus what I normally use, which is the I just take a piece of regular freshwater traditional line and cut it to size. Pretty little rod sock. There we go, guys. Very pretty. Here's your little rod cap in the end, which I will inevitably lose. Oh, it's because they give you a second one. Well, this one's gonna go somewhere safe because I will lose it within an hour. I'm just gonna go ahead and just put it in the rod sock. That way, if I lose it, I can find it. So yeah, I wonder if, I don't know what this is for. Maybe it's a rod holder, maybe? I have no idea what this is for. I'll have to figure out what this is for later. Maybe it's going to be self-explanatory to me later, but right now, I don't know. I don't know if it goes over the top of the rod, maybe? No. Maybe without the rod cap. Yeah, I have no idea what this is for. I'll have to do a little bit of research on this. And that's all we got in the box, besides like some stuff to clean the ground before we install the mirror. That's the rod they sent me. So if you guys want that, it's the Rivermaster Z1 12-foot, 8 segments, 4.6. There's all the numbers for you people who keep up with that stuff. I do not. I just say, ooh, pretty rod, and then I use it. And if I like it, I like it. So let's see. It is very light. It does feel, just by picking it up, it feels much lighter than the rods that I'd normally use. So that's a good thing. I like light rods. But this is the part that I'm really intrigued about, is this Lillian. Okay, so if you look real closely there, you can see it. This is what I was intrigued by. So like, no, normally on the Tenkara rod, when you get pulls on a fish, the Lillian stays, but this has like a ball bearing right there. I'm trying to get to focus, right there. So it spins 360, see? I'm really intrigued how that's gonna impact the fighting of the fish. And it doesn't feel like that'll be a stress point, but you never know till you know, catch a big old bass or a carp on here, which I've yet to catch a carp, but I have caught quite a few bass. Tied my little knot. Let's get the main line hooked up. If I can, I don't know what this direction is. Oh, showing you how to connect it to your rod. It's not quite the way that I normally do it, or is it? Let's see. Yeah, that's about how I do it, I guess. I don't know. Nice bubblegum pink. Feels very light, which tends to be the case with Tenkara gear. I tend to fish very, very heavier, or very, very heavy in comparison to what a lot of other people recommend. For Tenkara, I fish very heavy. So that's just something that I do myself. Mostly because I'm stubborn and I don't like losing fish because my line breaks. Alright, so now we got our main line connected. Let's get this thing nice and spooled out. So this should be 12 feet. How's it going? Sorry guys, I had somebody walk by and I had to give them a quick talking to. So remember what I said earlier in the car? I was worried this wasn't going to be the same length as the rod. It's actually just about where I like it. So it's a little bit longer, which I'm okay with, especially with a floating line. And yeah, so we're all good there. So this must be a 12-foot section, and I just maybe read it wrong, or I don't know. So I'm gonna put about a foot and a half-ish of line on here, which you can't see anything. I don't want to have it super long because I'll give it a little bit more. I normally do about 3 feet, but I'm gonna do a little bit longer so I have a little bit of practice cast. And this line is so light, it should throw the fly pretty good. I also do tend to use heavier flies than the other Tenkara guys use, but since we are doing Tenkara, we should start with the Tenkara fly. So the question is, should we go with a natural color, an unnatural color? I'm kind of digging white, maybe either white or green, but I have seen some dragonflies, so I do have this one blue one. Let's go we could go blue. Let's try blue. We put a little bit of extra line on there. If it doesn't work out, we can very easily just swap that out for another one. So I'm gonna get this tied on, put all this stuff back in my truck, and then we'll be heading down to the water. All right guys, we have made it to the water's edge. Now the wind is directly in our face, so we may end up fishing the other side and maybe even the rocks again. Even though I didn't have much luck last time on the rocks, but that could be different because the wind's a different direction. But before we get fishing, one thing we got to do, and that's pray. So let us pray. God, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for everything you've given us. And we just hope that you can use us as an example today as we go about our daily lives as what a good Christian should be and the life we should live, and that everything we do brings us closer to you. And I just pray that may this video reach out to somebody who maybe's never heard your word before, and maybe they'll have an opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. And if one of those people is there today, I just pray that you may reach out to them and give them the curiosity to investigate further the glories you have in store for us, Lord. I just pray that you may use me as a vessel to do your will, and hopefully keep me safe during this trip. And in your name we pray. Amen. Alright guys, now let's do the first, and of course I'm snagged. Alright, first cast. What we're gonna do is hopefully we're gonna get a fish on the first bite. Alright, so definitely a lot lighter than I'm used to, so it's gonna take me a few casts to get used to it. It may not have been a bad idea to make this leader a little bit longer. It's a bit springier than the other rods I cast, so if you had a longer line, it definitely would have, like a longer tippet section, it would be very beneficial, I think. This fly is not sinking yet, so I'm just kind of letting it do its thing on the surface. There we go, now we're in business. Do a little side cast that way. Oh yeah, this cast's really good. So far the rod feels really good for casting. I like it. I do want to try this rod with taking my normal, what I normally fish with my fly line backing leader, just out of curiosity to see how much of this casting feels good because of the rod versus the line. I'm sure it's a combination of both, but you know, I would like to kind of be able to get a direct comparison with a line that's new, or even maybe take this line. Ooh, something just spooked right there. Or even take this line and put it on my other rod and see how it feels. But we're here to investigate the rod. So far, I really like it. I don't know how it's gonna feel when we get to hooking a fish. That was one of the big reasons why I went Tenkara USA back in the day, was because the durability that they have. I do see a lot of little minnows in the water. Just reinforces maybe I should switch to a minnow pattern. I do like how this rod casts. I do. It's a little bit more, it's got more flex. So when you go to do your cast, you got a little bit more flickiness to it, which I like. My Tenkara USA rods are a little bit stiffer in the lower portions, I guess. They just feel a bit stiffer, so you have to cast a little bit harder, which, like I said, isn't a problem for me because I fish a lot of locations where, you know, I fish for fish that aren't, you know, I'm not fishing for trout. So I do tend to go a little bit heavier on the line, heavier on everything, so. It'd be kind of sad if we go fishing with this and we get skunked the first day out. Let's try a little bit further down, then we'll. Now we're directly in the wind. Let's see how that works. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get here and kneel down for a minute so I can. Yeah, it works pretty good in the wind. The wind's just angry today. This is really windy, so, and it's directly in our face, so I'm not expecting it to work miracles. Alright guys, this rod, I've been casting it for a while now. I really like how it casts. Now I just really know how it feels when I catch a fish. Now, difference between this rod and my Roto is my Roto is only 10 foot. This one is, I think it said 12, if I remember correctly. So it's longer, but it's light. It's very light. My other 12 foot, well, I think it's actually 13.6, is my Imago, which is very, very heavy. This rod is a lot lighter than that. So it's definitely a nice rod for being able to get more reach without having to sacrifice your sensitivity like I do with the Imago. The Imago, though, it's just a beast when it comes to catching really large fish because it's so stiff. It's almost like a Keiru rod, but it still has the flexibility of a Tenkara rod. So what we're gonna do is, since they're not digging blue, we're gonna switch to a marabou minnow in olive, which is what I fished here last time. And I was really hoping that we were able to get a nice fish on the Tenkara fly on the Tenkara rod, but I think this is just the wrong color, maybe the wrong size, not sure. But we will get to see how this thing does cast a heavier fly, because when these little marabou minnows get wet, they have a bit of weight to them. Mine are unweighted though, so there's no lead, but there's still a bit of weight just from the waterlogging effect from the marabou holding on to water. So go ahead and get this tied on. Well, we caught a piece of grass. Not exactly what we're after. Get off. Get off, slimy, slimy grass. Mmm, yummy. There we go. Finally, guys. Well, let's see. How does it feel? So far, feels pretty good. I can feel every head shake of this bass. It's not really big. I don't want to horse it too much because I don't know the strength of this rod, but it seems pretty good so far. Come this way, bud. It feels really good. I'll tell you that. Like, you can, I don't know if you can see my hand, but you can feel every little. Come on, buddy. It's not quite as beefy as my Roto, but the extra length kind of gives you the similar effect. I think if I had a longer leader on here, it'd be a little bit easier to fight him. He's not a tiny bass. He's not huge either. All right, come here, buddy. Lay this down gently because I don't want to break it. There we go, guys. Nice little. You double hooked. Yous weren't going nowhere, were you, bud? I forgot to crimp the barb on this one too. There we go, guys. Nice little bass. Oh, he smells good. I can smell you, but you smell like a very pretty fish. Ugh. Not a massive fish by any means, but definitely a fun one to catch. Most definitely fun to catch. Another fish just fed right over there. And he's feeding again. Maybe they're starting to wake up. Like I said, I've had better luck at this place towards the middle of the day when things start to warm up. Maybe they're just waking up now. They're like, oh, it's Saturday. I'm not getting up early to go eat breakfast. I'm just gonna lay in bed for a bit. And then here we are giving them breakfast. But yeah, that felt really good. I didn't want to horse it too much because I don't want to break the rod. I don't know this rod's limits. I'll learn that over time. That's something you can't learn just on one thing. I've yet to have a rod break on me. But the fact that it's so flexible really makes it fun fighting these fish because you can feel every head shake. It doesn't feel like it's out of control. My line didn't scream once, which meant that the rod was absorbing a lot of the At least I'm assuming this is how it works. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a professional, but it feels like the rod was absorbing a lot of the shock from the fish, which is good because that protects your line. The only reason why I'd say that's not good is if, you know, you see the fish feeding right out there in the middle? The only reason why that wouldn't be good was if you're yeah, they're starting to wake up. Yeah, bluegills are popping in the middle over there. See them? Just, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can. A little bit out of reach. If I put on a longer leader, we may be able to get a little bit closer to them, but they're still about 4 or 5 feet out of reach, and I don't normally fish with 17-foot leader, so they're not really going to be able to reach them regardless. But if the school comes our way, well, it's a different story. There we go. Another bass. Looks like it's about the same size. Maybe let me see if I can horse him a bit more this time. He's a little bit smaller, so I'm a little bit willing to test it. Oh yeah, definitely plausible to do. And there we go, guys. It's a little bit smaller than the first one. Not by, he's quite a bit smaller actually, but very pretty little bass. We're at 20% on this battery, then that'll be the last one. Then we'll be out of time, so. Ooh, that's cold water. Here we go, guys. I'm gonna let him go. And he's free. All right. We're gonna move back the way we came a bit. Now that we have a minnow tied on, maybe we can. There's some really big shell cracker in here too. I mean, really big that I've caught. I would love to get some of them on here because they fight really hard too. And let's see if we have any luck on this side now. I thought that was going to be a bad cast, but the line slung it for me. Hello, dragonfly. Oh, that was a bluegill for sure. I felt the little tippy tap. He sucked on the tail, then let it go. Ooh, that feels nice. Ooh, we got some swirls. See the swirls, guys? I don't know what this is. Bass, maybe? Oh yeah, it's a nice bass. Maybe the size of the first one, maybe a little bit bigger. I'm not sure yet. I do know one thing I will say I really like about the length of this rod with the flexibility. It is really easy to change because your pivot point is lower than it is on like the Roto. This is what I get worried about when they go on a long run like that, just kind of tiring them out. You can really kind of just get them to follow and then just slowly turn it. And maybe that Lillian rotating is helping, I'm not sure. It could be that when I go to do that, when they get to the end of the line of the run this way, normally I have to switch it and pull them back this way. With this, I can do that, but I can do it slower. Normally I have to do a quick switch. And then as he comes, let's keep him down. He's getting tired. I'm getting tired too, what do you mean? All right, come on, buddy. You done? You really just let them gas themselves out. Oh no, line broke. Well, we still got him. He's a little bit bigger than the first one. I'm gonna wash him off if I can. Here, buddy. Get you nice and big. There we go. All right, where's the hook? There it is. Our line popped on the hook, so I shouldn't have tried to lift him. This is 5 pound. Like I said, I'm used to 8. Oh, don't swallow that, bud. Hold on. Keep your gullet closed. There we go. Hook recovered. All right, guys, let's get him, get my foot out of the mud. All right, there we go. Very pretty little bass. Just a little bit bigger than the first one, maybe. I'm not sure, but we're gonna let him go. And we're at 10% battery, so we're almost out of time here, guys. There you go, buddy. There you go. He had a bit more shoulders on him than the other one did, so maybe that's why he felt bigger. He just had a little bit more weight to throw around. I think lengthwise he was about the same. So I washed my hands, and this side of the pond is cleaner than that side because it's not as muddy. This side's more sandy. I mean, they're both muddy, very muddy, but this side just has a bit more water to it. All right, so let's see here. We lost him. He did swallow it deep, so yeah, it looks like it pulled out. See? You can't see it. Maybe something darker. Maybe you can see how the line's kind of curled as opposed to snapped. That was my fault. I put too much weight on the line, and I use a cinch knot. So it was just too much pressure for the line to handle. All right. Let's head to the rocks. Catch us another 5 bass in 20 minutes. That's all the time we have left, about. And then we'll head home. All right, sound good to y'all? Sounds good to me. 20 bass doesn't sound good to you, then you guys ain't never fished these kind of areas before. Sometimes you're lucky if you get one. Oh, there's one right there. Just saw him swim away from the bank. He might come out here and get this minnow. I think we spooked him though. He might change his mind. He could have been investigating for something else. Maybe we can get him to change his mind. Well, guys, we're about out of time. So we're gonna go ahead and start making our way back to the car. So I'm gonna reset this camera and then I'll meet you guys back at the car. All right, guys, we've made it back to the car. We are actually officially driving home now. And yeah, I really like the rod so far. I really do. I definitely want to try it out on some bluegill because I want to see if they still have the same like funness factor. Because, you know, bluegill they're very strong fighters, but they're very light. So you can kind of, like if I use my Imago on them, which is my other 13'6" rod, it's like I feel the bite and then there's no more fight. It's just, oh look, a fish, and then I just lift it up and they're in my hands, which is fun. This GoPro is really hot. Hopefully this isn't a terrible view for y'all. Here, I'll put y'all right there. How's that? Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, if this footage comes out terrible at the end here, I'm gonna blame it on the sun, because my goodness, that GoPro is 1,000 degrees, and the battery's probably about to explode. But yeah, bluegill aren't the heaviest fish in the world. Until they get really big, then they're really fun. A really big bluegill will put up a really good fight, but a regular bluegill, you're looking at maybe a couple ounces, maybe 2, 3, 4 ounces. You know, you catch them, they just lift the hook up, and with the Mago, it just rips them out. This one's kind of has the potential. It feels like it has the potential to fight bigger fish, but it doesn't come off all the time as if like you don't always have to use it, if that makes sense. It's like it wasn't made to fight big fish, but it has the possibility. Whereas the Imago was specifically designed to fight really big fish, for Tenkara standards at least. So there's that. I do really like how it feels, and I don't know if it's because that Lillian, like I was saying, when you go to fight the fish and you turn to left and right to control it, it doesn't feel as stiff and rigid, which feels really good. So there's definitely that. Come on, people, let me out. So there's that, and it's just I really like it so far. I definitely want to give it a few more tests. I want to see how it feels against bluegill, and then I want want to see how it feels whenever I get a fish on there that's obviously too big for it. And does it feel like it's possible to catch it? Or is this just at a certain size, you're hopeless? Because even with the Roto, I've brought in some really big bass. You know, not really big, you know, I think the biggest I brought in was maybe a 2-pounder, 3-pounder maybe. Maybe 4, I don't know. I don't keep a scale. I have one, I keep forgetting to bring it. But you can go back in some of my older videos and you can see I've caught some bass that are much bigger than today's. But the Roto doesn't feel quite as springy as this rod does. It definitely feels like it's stiffer. So I don't know how that plays into you know, fighting it. My experience with Tenkara rods has only been a very few brands. You know, the cheaper ones you can buy on Amazon, and then Tenkara USA. This is my first time having the opportunity to try a somewhat more expensive rod that is geared towards, you know, that's a performance version of one. And it definitely feels like it performs very well. Like if you're fishing this with trout, I would say you're probably going to be just pretty good as far as I know. I mean, it's sensitive. I mean, I don't know how soft trout bites are, but it's sensitive. I mean, it's got that going for it. And then on top of that, it's got the long length really helps you fight the fish. But I guess most Tenkara rods are about that length anyways. But I enjoy it. I like it so far. I'm definitely gonna keep using it. I'm hoping to be able to make, you know, quite a few more videos with it. I really want to get a large bass on there to really see how it feels, or even a bowfin. That would be fun. Bowfin are a mess. Even the bowfin broke me off with the Imago, but I think he cut my line. The only one I've caught the bowfin on was the Teton, not Teton. It's by it's a K-Roo rod. I forgot the brand. I think it's just K-Roo Rod Company is what it is. I use theirs. That's the only one I was able to catch it on. But I wasn't on artificials. It was on my crawler, so it doesn't really apply here. But I can see the battery button's about to go out. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed that video, like, comment, share, subscribe, and yeah, most importantly, take it easy.